Bottom of the hanger on the bottom part of the grip. The hook is above the forearm. When I make my backswing, that hook should get on my forearm, which creates a 90-degree angle between my arm and shaft. So I set it, I keep it till about, let's say, halfway down, early transition, and then I release it. Set it, keep it, release it. All right, so I've been waiting probably literally 10 years to find a right wrist training aid that I would fall in love with. I have this precision impact training aid that I have been testing now for the past couple of months to make sure I like it. This right wrist training aid, I'm telling you, I've tried them all, is unbelievable. You put this on your right wrist and you'll notice when I make a backswing, it gives me some auditory feedback and I can set my right wrist about as far back as I can, and it locks that angle in. And it enables you to create the right wrist bend during the backswing, and also because of this little ball here, I can go up and down when I do it. It's absolutely freaking brilliant, and I've been using this a lot. It's gonna help your impact a ton. You go down below, you click the little link down there for Precision Pro, and you grab one of these. I'm telling you, you're gonna love it. There's a little coupon code in there, you get 20 bucks off. Keeping the right wrist bent back, okay, is the key. All right, guys, in today's video, we're talking about wrist set in the golf swing. I'm gonna show you how you can use this simple plastic hanger right from home so that you know you have the perfect amount of wrist set. And really, wrist set in the golf swing is one of the most important things that leads to that consistent, reliable, repeatable impact that we all want. Now, this conversation and drill was really born out of a conversation we had and that I had with a member of our site, CogornoGolf.com. He said, "Hey, Eric, how do I know how much to set my wrist during the backswing? When do I do it? When do I start to release it? How can I tell if I'm doing it correctly or not?" And this is the drill that I gave him that I want to share with you. So if you have a plastic hanger by you or one, you kind of pause this video, go grab that and bring that here. If not, you could visualize with us. Now, I'm going to put this on the side of the grip. And this is where, you know, it's a little bit uncomfortable to hold. That's why we like the actual hanger for a lot of this. But for the sake of this, if you don't have that actual hanger, we can use a plastic hanger. I'm going to put the hanger on the side of the grip. The bottom of the hanger is on the bottom part of the grip. Now notice when I take my setup with that on there, that the hook of the hanger from the down the line angle sits well above my forearm. Now wrist set, or the vertical hinging of the wrist, notice during the backswing, if I do that, hinge the club up, how that hanger now goes down to my forearm. So I start with it above my forearm. When I hinge my wrist, it goes down to my forearm. Now conveniently, with this hanger, this is why I love this so much, when I hinge it down and make a 90-degree angle between my arm and the shaft, the hook is right in line with my forearm. Perfect. Also conveniently, when we look at good golf swings, the amount that they hinge during the backswing is about 90 degrees. So if I can put a plastic hanger on when I take my setup and get the hook of the hanger to get even with my forearm at the top of the swing, I've created a 90-degree angle. That's as much as I need to do. And that was the first part of the drill, right? Which is sort of set it, right? Now, on the way down, what we watch here, because it's not just the backswing, I got to hit the ball. The best ball strikers create about 90 degrees, and then in early downswing, they keep 90 degrees. So that hook is going to stay on the forearm. Now, from there to impact, that hook doesn't stay on the forearm forever, right? I literally couldn't get down to the ball. I have to unhinge my wrist. But what they do is they replace the hook with the top part of the hanger. And that gives them that flat left wrist and shaft lean at impact. So the mantra with this player, and what I want you to have, is set it, keep it, release it. Let me explain what I mean. Set it, keep it, release it. And if you watch our videos, you know I like to repeat myself for learning effect. And so that set it, keep it, release it, you're gonna hear a couple times. Bottom of the hanger on the bottom part of the grip. The hook is above the forearm. When I make my backswing, that hook should get on my forearm, which creates a 90-degree angle between my arm and shaft. So I set it, I keep it till about, let's say, halfway down, early transition, and then I release it. Now, how do I release it? The hook does need to start to go above my arm. You see, as I'm unhinging my wrist, the hook is going above my arm. But as it's going above my arm, I'm replacing that with a flat left wrist and a little bit of arm rotation. So if we can punch in, the top part of this hook is now on my wrist at impact. So if it was off of it, right, the shaft would be too far back, no shaft lean. I want that on it at impact. So the reality is really you might be on any end of the spectrum with this, but I like this as sort of a stock model to work off of. Set it, keep it, release it. And so what I want to do for practice here is I'd like you to do 1 or 2 reps with the hanger on the side. This way we can feel how much we're going to do the setting. And when we do the wrist set on the way back, there's a timing element, right? And the answer is it should happen progressively. I wouldn't recommend, although there's different ways to do it, that you set it during the takeaway and then just hold it. I wouldn't recommend that you do no setting and set all of it late. I would do it progressively. Progressively means that I get to that 90-degree mark, you know, late backswing. So I set up with it well above. During the takeaway, it goes down a little bit, but there's not a ton, right? For me to get my takeaway position, it gets a little bit closer to my forearm relative to where I was at setup, but only slightly. By the time I get to left arm parallel, it's still just ever so slightly above. And then when I get to the top, it's on it. Okay, that's my 90 degrees. Now, when I set my wrist during the backswing, we're talking about this up and down hinge, the vertical component. There's also the back and forth component. And that's also why this is such a good training aid. Because while during the backswing, you're looking to add vertical hinge to the point of 90 degrees, you're also looking to take your lead wrist, which if you have a neutral grip is slightly cupped at setup, a little angle there, and you're looking to get rid of that angle or flatten your left wrist. So the wrist goes up, thumb towards you, and it goes back, flat. So as I'm getting this on my forearm and I have a 90-degree angle, also I want to have my left wrist flat from the down the line angle. That would have it pressing against my forearm. Notice when I go back, if my wrist is cupped too much and there's an angle here, that's off my forearm. So I don't want to get just the vertical hinging motion, but have a big cup in my wrist. That's off my forearm. The beauty of this drill is I get both of those. I get the vertical hinging onto my forearm and I flatten my left wrist. So it's touching the forearm. It's a perfect 2 for 1. Now in early downswing, I want to keep that left wrist flat so it stays on my forearm. Most players I work with, and this player in particular, would early release, okay? That means the hanger gets above the forearm early in the downswing. So they really need to feel and hone in on the fact that the hanger is going to stay on the forearm in early transition. Notice that I keep that 90-degree angle early down. I do that until about left arm parallel. It's slowly unhinging, and I'm replacing that with that flat left wrist. Okay, so as I'm working down in the impact, if I kept that hinge forever and had no arm rotation, it'd look like this, right? I would never square the club face. So I can't keep the hook on my forearm forever. How do I hit the ball? So to get to the ball, I have to allow that to unhinge a little bit. And how do I get to the golf ball? There needs to be a little bit of arm rotation, okay? So if you held your thumb up like this, sort of like a hitchhiker position, my logo points away from me, the thumb's slightly up towards the sky at my delivery position. By impact, I need to feel like I get that thumb pointed at the golf ball. Thumb's at the golf ball. So it's down, and so let's say the thumb goes down towards the ground, and the back of the glove, or the logo, actually points at the target by impact. Okay, so now that we know some of the details here, how we start practicing this, let's do a couple practice things with the hanger on. We're going to set it, hanger on the wrist and the forearm, keep it on in early transition, and then release it. Okay, so at impact, the thumbs are down towards the ground, the glove logo is towards the target, and the top of the hanger is on the forearm. So I just want to get a feel of a couple rehearsals, how that feels. Set it, keep it, release it. Now I'm going to feel that in motion but slow. Set it, keep it, release it. Set it, keep it, release it. And doing a couple of those where there's some little rehearsals in between is fine. And with the hanger at this point, you can keep hitting with the hanger on, or we could take the hanger off, but I can actually demonstrate with this on once you get used to it. So we set it, keep it, release it. And that release part is that thumb going from up and back to down towards the ball, down towards the ground and at the ball. And the glove logo goes from pointed at the ball to pointed at the target. Thumb down, glove logo at the target. Thumb down, glove logo at the target. So let's go ahead and give that a shot here. Set it, keep it, release it. And that's how I know that I can get my wrist set correctly. Now, hitting balls with the hanger on is gonna feel kind of goofy for some of you. So what I would do is I would do 1 or 2 of those rehearsals like that and have this in and really focus on getting that hook to your forearm at the top and keeping it on, release at impact. I would do 1 or 2 of those rehearsals, and then I'd toss that hanger to the side, and I'd try and retain that same feel here when I'm hitting. Set it, keep it, releasing that little late thumb down towards the ground, glove logo towards the target. Set it, keep it, release it. So that's how you can do your wrist set and your swing. You know, there's some more details that we can dive into, obviously, in terms of the timing of things, but I think thinking about that as a progressive motion, going from 0 to 100, get the hook on by the top of the swing, keep it on in early transition. Most of you are going to want to have the tendency to have the hook go down your arm too soon when you start down. You're going to need to really work on keeping that on in early transition. The right wrist shoulder stays up and back, up and back. And then to get to the golf ball to square the face, you need that little late release motion. So that's how you do the wrist set. If you guys have any questions on this, as always, go ahead and leave a comment down below.